Welcome to this episode of OG55 live on this wonderful Mario Day. Today we are celebrating Mario. We're celebrating Nintendo. We're talking all about this amazing company, this amazing franchise, this amazing character. We got the one and only Seymour Duck with us. We got the Italiano and Michael Levitt today on this episode of OG55 Live. Welcome aboard, everybody, to this episode of OG55 Live on this wonderful Mario Day, March 10th. We're talking all about Mario. We're talking all about Nintendo. Whether you want to talk the movies, whether you want to talk the games, whether you want to talk the theme parks now. We even have Mario theme park stuff. So it's open to everything Nintendo. But before we dive into that, I'm going to introduce my fantastic panel. We have the Italiano, the Joe Pesci of Diz YouTube. George, welcome back, sir.
Glad to be back. It's been a minute. It's been a while, but that's how we roll here on OG55.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But no, glad to be back, and glad to talk shop with you guys. It's always a good time.
Yeah, if you could let everybody at home know where they could find you on social media, sir.
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And, of course, you'll find me here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Absolutely, absolutely. Here we go. Since we're doing Mario today. There we go. And down below, we got the one, the only, Mr. Seymour Duck. Loving the new profile icon, Seymour. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Happy Mario Day, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could remind everybody where they could find you on social media. And also, I believe you have a website coming out, Seymour, pretty soon?
Yeah, you can find me on X at Mr. Seymour Duck or this new website I'm making called duckinvest.com. No, sorry, quackinvest.com.
Quackinvest.com. Any date we're looking at in terms of like when the website goes up, or?
Oh, no date yet. Whenever it's finished, it's finished. It's just going to be a hobby of me talking about investing.
Awesome. We'll keep everybody at home posted once that goes up. We will definitely be sharing that out. But Seymour, again, thank you so much for coming on. And last but certainly not least, we have our friendly neighborhood Michael Webber. Mr. Webber, welcome back, sir. If you could remind everybody where they can find you on social media.
Of course, OG. Thank you so much for having me back on the show. You can find me on Instagram, Michael Ebba, and then on Twitter /X at Michael Ebba 1991. And you can find me here on OG55 with these beautiful gentlemen, all right here.
Yes. And here, I didn't chime Seymour in, so I got to do one for Seymour, and I got one for Mr. Michael Webber. All right, so the comments are piling in. Let's go ahead. Actually, let's start off with the news of the day. Actually, this is actually pretty interesting. On this Mario Day, a new Super Mario Brothers movie is officially in the works at Nintendo and Illumination. The animated film will release in theaters on April 3rd, 2026. Crazy. Now, not a huge shock. The first Mario obviously did very, very well. Massive success. I loved this movie. Seymour, I'm going to start with you. What were your thoughts when this was announced today?
I mean, I was excited. Miyamoto, I saw the tweet. He just casually like, oh, yeah, we're having a Mario movie coming out in 2 years. I'm like, oh, okay, on Mario Day. Because I didn't hear any rumors. Like usually in the media, you hear some type of rumors. This one, nope. It was just like, yeah, we're working on it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And awesome. I liked how they did it the same date as last time, around the same day, letting the studios know, the other studios, like, you better back off because we're going to this date, and if you have a movie release, yeah, you're in trouble. Because last year, they did amazing, right? At the box office, over $1 billion. I think it was 1.35 billion.
Yeah. A monstrous hit, absolutely, especially in this day and age with how and Seymour, we've had you on many times to talk about animation. Animation in general, it's not just the Mouse House. The animation in general is struggling in the box office. A lot of families are opting out. For Mario to hit that number, to hit that $1 billion mark, is massive in this current environment. You know, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Exactly. So I wouldn't recommend a studio like Disney or Pixar to make an animated movie next to Mario.
It would be
not at the rate they're going.
No.
no, it would be ill-advised for sure. You know, Mario is a powerhouse. Nintendo in general is a powerhouse right now, especially. And yeah, these studios are going to want to steer clear of this thing.
Now, Seymour, let me ask you this really quick, because you said for Disney or Pixar to not. What if, just to say hypothetically, a Frozen film went up against Mario the same weekend? What would you think?
Ooh, that is tough. The thing is, though, I'm a bit biased. I'm a more of a Nintendo fan than Disney, so I would think that Nintendo hit the park better than Disney. But I mean, competition is great, but it's not good. I think it would complete both box office. Split it. I think you'd be better off, go somewhere at a different date.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. There'd be definitely some cannibalization.
For example, like Sonic is a great IP, but they released a game during the same time Super Mario Wonder came out, and nobody cared about the Sonic game.
Oh my gosh. And we're going to talk about Sonic versus Mario a little bit later on in the show, but it's so interesting to me because I'm old enough to remember the Nintendo versus Sega wars in the 90s, I believe, or late 80s, early 90s. And it's crazy how Sega in general as a company has sort of fallen from grace, because now they don't even make consoles anymore, right? They just license out their games to other companies. I mean, it's crazy how far they've kind of fallen from what they once were, from the Sega Genesis days and all that stuff, you know. So, but we'll get into that. We'll get into Mario versus Sega Mario versus Sonic in just a moment. George, you excited about this movie? I mean, I know you didn't love the first one, right? Or you thought it was okay?
No. It actually, the first time I saw it, it didn't really grasp onto me. But as I said, I'm a huge component I'm a huge component. What the fuck am I saying? I am a huge believer of trying something twice, always, even if you don't really like it the first time. After I saw it the second time, I don't know, something just clicked. I really enjoyed the movie. I don't know, I might have been having an off day that day, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I am looking forward to it. It doesn't surprise me that they made this announcement on Mario Day. I think it was a smart move.
Yeah.
But of course, being that it's coming out in 2026, I'm okay with it. I'm fine. But it's like you have these other people that if it was a Disney movie, they'd be like, oh, why is it taking so long? It's what have you. But that's just the bias in everybody, I guess. But no, I'm actually looking forward to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, me too. I love the first movie. That was adorable. Cute little story. What about you, Ebba? Did you see the Super Mario Brothers movie?
I did, yes. I saw the Super Mario Brothers movie, and back to Sonic, I saw both Sonic movies. But anyways, dude, I love this movie. I really love this movie. It's fantastic. It looks beautiful. The music cues, the characters they had in there. Oh man, it was so good. I really love this movie a lot. And I kind of want to dive into, if we can, a little bit later with the whole Legend of Zelda movie that they announced a little while ago. Because right now we have a sequel for Super Mario Brothers, and it's going to be Illuminations again. So it's going to be another, CGI animated movie. But Legend of Zelda, it's supposed to be, I guess, live action or something. So I kind of want to see if we can talk about the difference between the live action and animation.
We could do that. You want to do that now? We could definitely do that. We actually have a comment in the comments about Zelda, so we can kind of tie that in. But it says here, this is from Mike. The casual movie announcement was hilarious. They did the same with the Zelda announcement. Nintendo does what Nintendo wants to do. Absolutely. Yeah. But Zelda is a live action movie. Now that's interesting. And it's not going through Universal. I believe it's going through Sony.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, Seymour. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
I think what they want to do is push for like a more mature audience, where Mario is for like, to say for kids, like for like Disney. But this one, Zelda, it's a more mature audience. Like if you played the Zelda games, you would know like there's a lot of slashing and whatnot in the game, and people, a lot of Nintendo fans prefer that actually instead of Mario, that mature audience. So it won't be like a family movie like Mario would be. But I mean, it's an amazing game. You would want to see that live action. I would want to see that live action. I know some people want to see it in CGI, but I think like we have already seen that with Mario, and we want to see something different. We don't
Yes.
want another Mario Zelda type. And I think this is why they went with Sony.
I agree with Seymour on that notion. Like anytime I think of Zelda, the character of Link, the storyline, the scope of the world of Zelda, I always pictured it that if they ever made it into a film, it would definitely fit much better in live action. It kind of throws off the vibe like between like a Lord of the Rings kind of Game of Thrones kind of feel to it. I think that would be really cool.
Oh, I agree with you, gentlemen, and that's the beauty of Nintendo is the range, the variety that this brand has, right? So you can have the more family-friendly fare, like the Super Mario Brothers movies, but then you can dip into the live action, maybe a little more adult, with Legend of Zelda, kind of do like more of a Lord of the Rings vibe, like George was saying. So I like that. I like the diversity that Nintendo has at their fingertips, and they should continue to do that. What you want to do is based on whatever Nintendo IP you're dealing with, you cater to that, right? So for Mario, animation works perfectly. For Zelda, live action, and then whatever other, like for example, I think Pokemon. I think if they were going to do a Pokemon movie again, I think maybe animation would probably be better fit for that. Maybe you go to Illumination for a Pokemon movie or something, right? But it just depends on that IP. So yeah, interesting stuff. I think this movie is going to do amazing numbers. I mean, it's going to crush at the box office. Universal, to their credit, was really smart getting in bed with Nintendo, and Nintendo is super hot right now, and it's probably going to do another $1 billion at the box office. So yeah.
I just have a question. Sony, why would you? I don't know what the reason is behind going for Sony. Like a lot of Sony's, at least their superhero movies have been kind of flopping lately.
From what I understand, Ebba, I forgot the gentleman's name, but the director attached to that Zelda movie, Nintendo really likes that gentleman.
Okay.
And he's connected to Sony.
Okay.
I forgot the guy's name. I believe he's Japanese. But I was wondering the same thing. I was like, well, why didn't they go with Universal? Because they went with Universal for the animated one. It was a huge hit. And I looked into it. The gentleman attached to that Zelda movie, he already worked something out with Nintendo even before, I think, the Mario animated film. Have you heard anything about that, Seymour? Any details on that? Or
I know that he does a lot of the Spider-Man movies and the video game ones. Trying to remember the one with Tom Holland in it.
Oh yeah, I forgot the name of that.
I think he was doing that. But from what I remember, though, rumors back that Nintendo was actually supposed to work with Sony for like animation as well, and Amy Pascal, I think her name was, working at Sony, made a big, like, emails got leaked and everything. So there was in one of the emails, she made a big deal that we got Nintendo, we're gonna make Super Smash Brothers. They're gonna do the whole thing, right? And then it never happened because I don't know, because of the hack, or Nintendo doesn't like that. I don't know what actually happened, but there might have been a deal in place as well for the Zelda live action. And he might have just liked working with that director and said, you know what, we were going to stick with this one instead of moving to somewhere in Universal, Comcast area. And I remember also rumors of Netflix doing a live action a TV series for Zelda. Right. And apparently that got leaked as well. It was supposed to be like the same people who made The Witcher. And they're like, oh no, we're not doing it anymore. And I think it's because it got leaked again. And Nintendo doesn't like leaks. As you can tell, we didn't even hear anything about this movie, the second one that's coming out.
No.
Or the Zelda one. the Nintendo doesn't like news. They want to control the narrative of their news, and sometimes, like even for games like Super Mario Wonder, they announced it 3 months prior to the release date, and nobody knew about it. There was no rumors, no nothing. The rumors were the day before they announced it. Nintendo likes to control that.
Actually, no, Seymour. Actually, no. It's funny you say that because as a fan personally, I actually like that more because I'm tired of companies, whether it's video game companies, theme park companies, whatever. They announce these projects like 3, 4, 5 years and like ahead, and I don't even like. I get hyped, and then I kind of don't care anymore because it's been so long. Like if you tell me like at least within the year, then I'm hyped for said product by the time it comes out.
Well, and that's kind of the universal model, right? With theme parks, they're dang near building this thing already, and they announced the project like halfway through construction. It's a different approach, and Disney is more like what you were kind of saying, Abba, where it's like we announce it and then we wait a few years to start it and stuff like that. Very, very different approaches, So it's interesting. Mr. BJ Vincent here says, "Happy Mario Day, guys." Well, happy Mario Day to you as well, Mr. Vincent. What kind of Wario and Waluigi related stuff would you like to see in a possible future expansion for Universal Super Nintendo World, Epic Universe, and or Hollywood? George, what do you think about this, man? Wario or Waluigi related stuff? What kind of attraction, what kind of offerings would you want to see any of it? Where do you stand with it?
So for me, I have to actually say, like, I know of the characters. I don't really know too much of their backgrounds that would like fit into a complete attraction or what have you. Yeah, Seymour or Mike might know that a little bit more, but I wouldn't mind like having them as like meet and greet characters. To be honest with you,
now Seymour. These are villains, right, in the Mario universe?
Yeah, not as bad as Bowser, but like at a smaller scale.
Okay. Now, I mean, what would you? I mean, are these characters that you would find compelling enough to maybe add into a theme park, or do you feel like maybe not?
Going back to the movie, not to go off topic though, but to go back to the movie, I would rather see them in the second movie, and have Wario played by Danny DeVito, and Waluigi as Rob Schneider. So like, I think those casts would be great for it.
Nice. Now, Ebba, would you be interested in something like that, Wario or Waluigi in the parks?
Yeah, no, definitely. Because I personally, I feel although they have been represented in the games, I feel that compared to like Mario and Luigi, they are underutilized. And how I always like to think of Wario and Waluigi is they're like the counterparts to Mario and Luigi. And also not that, but they're just both straight up ugly as well.
Yeah. With the mustache, like
yeah. But yeah, no, I would for sure like to see like either like a meet and greet character or like I don't know, Wario's like a type of restaurant for him or something, or you know what I mean, like some type of maybe food stuff. I think that'd be really cool, and maybe have like the characters walk like a walk around dining thing. I think that'd be really cool. For attractions, I'm not really sure, but maybe you can do something with like a Mario Party or something, like kind of throw that in there.
That's interesting concept. Okay, yeah, I like the characters. They're cool. Like I'm not as familiar with them like George, but the characters are cool. They're bad guys. You could probably do something with it. I mean, I don't know, because we already have Mario Kart. So maybe the best way to go about it, you can add it in Super Nintendo World as like what you were saying, like a Mario Party kind of situation. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. Mr. Matthew Murr, all the way from the UK. We actually have a Matthew Murr video coming out tomorrow morning talking all about Disney animation. Yes, very cool video. Check it out tomorrow morning. But Matthew here is asking, what's your favorite iteration of Mario? I have a couple. I really like the old school Mario, like the first game. It brings me back to my childhood. I know the graphics are really not great, but it's like the game I grew up with, so I have like an affinity for it. I also actually though really like the style of Paper Mario. I think that whole concept was very, very clever. I like the way the artistic style on that game a lot, actually. So those are probably my two favorites. What about you, George? What's your favorite iteration of this character?
Believe it or not, my top favorite version of Mario is from Super Mario World, from the NES I cannot talk today. I
Super
do
Nintendo.
apologize.
You see this
SNES.
right here?
Yes, there we go. That one. I don't know why, because it seemed like it was like an upgrade, a little bit like from the original Super Mario Brothers game, but before it got into the Nintendo 64 kind of 3D, which I did actually enjoy Mario 64. That's probably like my number two. I don't know why, because I just love that game with the Nintendo 64 and what have you. But
Right.
the one Mario that I couldn't really get into, really any of the characters. I don't know why. It just kind of like was from Mario 2, the game.
Okay.
Like I did not like the look of those. No, not even just them. Like the game all around. I don't know why. I just didn't like the style that they went with it. I don't know why.
That's because it was like a Japanese game that was not Mario, and they needed to release something because they were delaying Mario Brothers 3, so they put that out in North America, and just replaced the character as Mario.
Oh,
Interesting.
Wow.
And
That's why it's like so off-putting. Like that doesn't look like Mario. Yeah.
interesting. Okay, and that's the one. Seymour, correct me if I'm wrong. That's the one where you like the second one where you could play as Peach and stuff, right?
Yep.
Got it. Okay, that's interesting. Now I want to ask you, Seymour, and maybe you don't know. I'm not really sure, but like, okay, we had Zelda on the NES, right?
Yep.
But the second Zelda, I think it's A Link to the Past, was also really weird and a weird departure from the first one. Was it a similar situation with that, or did they
Oh
just
no,
go?
that's just Nintendo making Zelda. No, yeah, that's just the original.
Okay,
from the
got
start.
you. Yeah, and then they went back to the old school look of it, but I guess they were just kind of experimenting with that one. Now, Seymour, what's your favorite iteration of Mario?
I mean the classic original one, of course.
Right.
I always remember that. But like my favorite ones, there's a few. Like Super Mario Brothers 3. I think that one's the most iconic for me because it was my favorite game when I was a kid. Super Mario Brothers 3.
Nice.
And
Nice.
Super Mario 64 because it ventured into a 3D world. It blew my mind to see those graphics
Yeah.
at
me
the
too.
time. PlayStation and Nintendo were battling it out for graphics. But yeah, I remember that time. And then right now, like Super Mario Brothers Wonder, they changed Mario. He's like more cutesy, and I like it. It's like they're trying to push to that like style that they have from the movies now. Well, they changed Mario, and I think it goes well because they haven't changed Mario design in the games for years, and this was like the first time they changed it, and I like it.
Yeah, that Mario Wonder, from the little I've seen, I've never played it, full disclosure, but from what the little I've seen, it looks really good. Really imaginative and fun looking. And that's smart that Disney learned early on with like Mickey Mouse that the character is going to have to evolve physically to stay kind of relevant. And I think it was smart for Nintendo to sort of apply that to the character of Mario, right? Where the character is kind of evolving. And also with this Wonder movie, like you said, Seymour, it's more in the style of the animation. So smart synergy there, absolutely. Now let me go up here a little bit. Give me just a moment. I'm trying to catch my spot here. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I didn't go to Ebba. I didn't ask you your favorite iteration of Mario. Ebba, what's your favorite iteration of Mario? I'm so sorry, brother.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So I actually have a couple. So I'm with Seymour. I really love, and it's the one that I grew up playing the most, even though I had all three games. Is the Super Mario Brothers 3, Mario, and I guess Luigi 2. I don't know, like something about the design of those characters and that pixelated form. I just really love it. Very colorful and stuff. It's really cool.
It's iconic. You know what I'm saying?
It is. And then I also really like once we got to like Super Mario Sunshine, and like kind of this goes back to what Seymour said. A lot of these characters they've kind of, I think, perfected more as the years have gone. So they don't change much as years goes on. I think these companies now kind of stick, okay, this is what the character like finally looks like, right? This is like our ideal vision of what the character looks like. So really Mario from like, Super Mario Sunshine and forward, I really liked how he's like looked in that aspect.
Nice.
So
Nice. Now, our good friend Sam Chat is in the house. He says, favorite Zelda game. Mine is Breath of the Wild. I heard that's an amazing game, by the way. I've never played it, but I've heard amazing things about it. For me, the game was so amazing from the score to the gameplay that it became one of my favorite video games of all time and made me a huge Nintendo fan.
wow.
Yeah, that's wild. My favorite Zelda game was the one for Super Nintendo. Seymour, I don't remember the name of that game for the life of me. Do you by offhand, do you remember the name of that one?
I'm blanking as well.
I'm blanking, but the Zelda game for Super Nintendo was my all-time favorite. I played that thing like crazy.
A Link to the Past, I think it was.
Yeah. That one was great. And it was like that. It was like that old school style, but it was like, but it upgraded obviously from the 8-bit version of the NES, and it was like what 16-bit for the Super Nintendo. I was addicted to that game. It was fantastic. But George, were you a Zelda guy? Did you play Zelda or not?
I played a little bit of Zelda. I dabbled a little bit with the game that you're.
You dabbled. A little dabbling?
Little dabbling. To the one that you mentioned, the original one from the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later on that I started playing as Link in the Super Smash Brothers game. But other than that, it was the original Zelda that I played.
Nice. Isn't that your nickname, Super Smash Brother? No.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Webber? What was your favorite?
In 3 different states.
Jeez. Mr. Ebba, what's your favorite Zelda game? Or were you not into Zelda?
Mine is actually Wind Waker. That one was really, really fun. I don't know. It's weird because I never thought I would like a game because the new Zelda games also have that kind of anime, very like stylish, design. And I never thought I would like the game because of how it looks. But that's a very, very fun Zelda game though, Wind Waker. I don't know. It's not too overwhelming because it's not open world. It's kind of like, I guess, open world in a sense. You're kind of sailing along the boat, but it's very fun puzzles, very fun action combat, and you're like the little kid cartoon Link, right? And I thought that was kind of lame before playing it. And I played it. I was like, well, this game is cool. I really like this one. So yeah, I would say that's my favorite one.
Okay, cool. And Seymour, what's your favorite Zelda game?
It's like what Sam said. It's Breath of the Wild. It like the open world aspect of it blew my mind. Nintendo put all the detail in that game. They took their time. It took forever to get released, but I mean, like, thank goodness, because it showed off a game that I think it was like 10 out of 10. There are other games that I liked. I liked Ocarina of Time. That's a classic on N64. And like Michael said, Wind Waker as well. I like those, but those were like my favorite 2 games before Breath of the Wild, but now Breath of the Wild topped that. And I don't think right now any other game from Zelda could top that right now. I don't know. It's going to be hard because it was a new experience when I played it. And now to get that same new experience, I don't know if that can happen. We shall see. It's Nintendo though, but.
Well, and I wanted to ask you too, Seymour. There's been murmurs of Nintendo, because right now it's the official console. The current console for Nintendo is the Switch. Any word, any update on the upcoming console coming out? Have we heard anything yet?
So OG, sorry, real quick. Sorry, OG, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
I just wanted to ask you. So, what do you think of Tears of the Kingdom? I have Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't played it yet, but do you like that one more than Breath of the Wild?
No, because that first time experience, right, with the open world, you don't have it, right? It's like a sequel to a movie that you experience. It like we all watched the Mario movie, but now that sequel comes in, it's not going to be as surprising as it was watching it, at least for me. So when I play a game that's like familiar, it doesn't give me that surprise. But I mean, it's not a bad game. It's a beautiful game. It's 9 out of 10 for me. But you don't get that mind blowing experience that's like I had with Super Mario Wonder or Breath of the Wild.
Well, Seymour said it's 9 out of 10, so obviously it sucked.
According to today's world, if it's not a 10, it's not good, right?
Trash.
We were talking, I think it was before the show, how like John Campia, I'm a fan of his content, but like he would rate these movies and stuff. He'd give a movie like 8 out of 10. And like people would comment in his comment section, "Oh, so you hated it?" It's like, what are you talking about? 8 out of 10? That's amazing. That's great. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. But Mike here says Avi Arad is the producer of Zelda, the live action, and he is tied to Sony. The director, I don't know his name, but he directed the Maze Runner movies and is directing the new Planet of the Apes movies. Okay. Interesting stuff there. Oh, actually, Seymour, before we move on to our next one, so that new console, okay, so we have the Switch right now. When's that new console coming out? Because I know there's been murmurs of a new one coming soon, but any update on that?
So these are all just rumors. So when I see people getting upset that it's getting delayed, they never officially announce a date. So I don't know how it's delayed if it wasn't officially announced. But yeah, there was rumors of a Nintendo Switch Pro, but due to COVID, the factory supply issues that ever happened, so they just released an OLED version, and then it was supposed to happen again. The rumor was like March, but again, they want to make sure they have enough supply because they think they were going to sell out. They like, oh no, we're not going to have enough supplies in time because everyone now is doing AI and they're taking up all the resources for chips, including NVIDIA, which is usually the partners that they do for building the chips for the Nintendo Switch, and now it looks like it's going to be near summer's winter time for the Nintendo Switch 2025. It looks like it's happening, but like I said, it's just rumors, so nothing has been officially announced. But I mean, I'm excited. I rather just let it wait until it's perfect. I don't want to get anything rushed for movies, games, anything. I don't like things getting rushed. I rather have that quality, even if it takes many years.
I completely agree, Seymour. And the movie fandom and the theme park fandom, they're all about that release date, the opening date. And it gets kind of like a little bit like the date becomes more important than anything else. You know, it's like I'm with you. I'd rather wait if they got to iron some kinks out and make a better quality. I'll wait another year for that better film, that better theme park experience. You know, because once that movie premieres, once that theme park thing opens, you're stuck with that thing now, you know? So why not make sure you get it right before that thing opens? So I completely agree with you.
And for example, since we were talking about it, Super Mario Wonder, there was no release date attached to that. There was a Q&A when the developers are working on it, and they said, yeah, we had no release date. We were just going to finish it when we thought it was finished. And that's, I think, the thought that Nintendo does with their games, right? And that's what I really like about Nintendo. It's because they don't finish something until they think it's finished. And that's why you don't see release dates a lot of the time or hear a lot of rumors, because they don't want anything to be out. They don't want the fans to get upset what's taking so long. They rather have this quality game. And that's why like 3 months before, they just announced like, oh, we're ready. Here you go.
Yeah,
Right.
makes sense. Go ahead.
I feel like Seymour. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that sounds like, especially Nintendo Japan, they're not so quick to bow down to like investors. I could be wrong, but you know how like investors or whatever, or these business suits, they want stuff to be rushed. I want this set date, bring it out. I don't care if it's broken, glitchy, whatever. Just rush out the game. And then Nintendo's like, whoa. We're gonna make this a good game. Has to be high quality. That's our brand.
Now, Seymour, is that the case sort of with Nintendo? Like,
a lot of people say when you invest in Nintendo, you're investing in a very conservative company. You're not going to get that growth that you see in a lot of U.S. Tech stocks. But I like that because it's very stable. Slow and steady wins the race. So I'm not here to make. If you want to gamble your money at the casino. If you want to make more money, but I'm here to see this company grow nice and slow. Because if you throw everything all at once, it becomes a mess. And then if it's not successful, then it's going to be hard to go back. You don't want that. You don't want a Bob Chapek issue where you just throw all this money in the streaming and you're just losing for no reason.
No, exactly. Yeah. And Seymour, you and I did a video not too long ago, like a couple months ago, about the Universal Park expansions, like overseas, like to UK and all that, right? And we talked about that, how you can grow too fast. And the risk of doing that, and how if one of those things fails, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would agree. Slow and steady, absolutely. Girly Nerd here says, and Girly Nerd, it is always good to see you. Welcome. She says here, happy Sunday, gentlemen. Well, happy Sunday to you, Girly Nerd. There you go. Wish I could hang out, but I'm watching the Oscars. I'll check it out later. Yeah, we kind of know it is Oscar Sunday. We kind of know that a lot of people are watching the Oscars. So yeah, absolutely. Join us on the replay. No worries there at all. And our good friend Maybe is in the house.
Maybe.
And when Maybe is in the house, we play the Maybe drop.
Cause I'm that girl that drive you crazy, but you're killing me alone. Got you thinking maybe alone. Got you thinking maybe alone. Got you thinking maybe.
Absolutely. And her icon is very much on brand for today's show, which is awesome. Maybe here says Mario Galaxy is the worst. Seymour, would you agree with that? Is it the worst?
If I remember, we were talking about the design of Mario. It was very plain. They didn't really change much. For the game, yeah, I mean, I liked it. I liked the soundtrack more though. It was very iconic for me. Yeah. You see it in even like in the end of the movie, you can hear some Galaxy music as well.
So real quick, guys, I want to go back to the console thing. So I have a very big issue, Seymour, and please feel free to disagree with me. That's all good, gravy. But my biggest issue with Nintendo is when it comes to their consoles. I get it, family friendly. You know, they have to also keep it, very cost friendly to families. But my biggest issue is as soon as when they come out with a new console, it's severely underpowered. I get it. It would take a lot. I know it's a lot of money to have like super high tech, but they're always underpowered compared to like Sony or Microsoft. And like in my opinion, the Wii U is what the Wii should have been. They like because you go from GameCube to Wii, kind of barely any difference in my opinion, and then you go to Wii U like shortly after that, and then now we have the Switch. So I just want to hear what your thoughts on that. Am I wrong? Am I right?
No, you're not wrong at all. That's like one of the biggest complaints with Nintendo is that they're underpowered. But as a business sense, it's because they make profits from day one, right, where Sony and Microsoft does not, and they have to make their sales from software, where they take the 30%. Nintendo, that's why they're very profitable and have zero debt. And their margins are high because they have that synergy where they make profits on hardware and software at the same time. And that's their reasoning. But I mean, that is the issue. But there was rumors with the Switch 2 that because they're working with NVIDIA, they're going to use AI to upgrade the graphics. So instead of using hardware, they'll use AI. And that will give you that 4K 60 frames per second you need with it. I forget what the technology was, but the name for it. But they use it right now for PC. But they're going to implement it because it's the technology NVIDIA has. And I mean, like, if you're going to give me AI and give me better graphics and at a cheaper price, I'm down for that. I'm not complaining. Nobody's going to notice the difference, right?
Right, exactly. That's cool, though. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I'd rather have using AI for better graphics than having the streaming service like that people are trying to do for games that like Google did with Stadia that died off. I do not like. I'd rather use AI and improve the graphics.
Well said, well said. And our friend Undead Nerd says here, Super Paper Mario is an emotional gem. Mario RPG is a cult classic. Mario 64 DS, why does no one talk about that? Any of you gentlemen dip into Mario 64 DS? George, did you ever have a DS, George?
No, I have not. Like, I'm like old school. Like, I had like the older systems with all these classic games. Like, I'm completely just going along with the flow, like with the DS and the Nintendo Switch. I know nothing of that shit. Honestly, who probably would have been great for the show is actually my son, because he has like all the up to date like Mario stuff and everything. No, I never tried Mario. I didn't even know there was such a thing called Mario 64 DS.
Yeah, it was on the DS. What about you, Eva? You ever rock the Mario 64 DS?
Oh yeah, I had Game Boy Color, Game Boy SP, Game Boy DS, all that jazz. And I did have the game, and in that game it was cool because it was like a more updated version, so you can play as Mario, Luigi, I believe, Seymour, correct me if I'm wrong, but was it Yoshi? Was it Yoshi that was playable? I think
Yoshi, Luigi, and Wario.
And Wario, yeah. And I think they had some like new some other levels you could do with the characters and stuff. So it was really cool. My problem though wasn't the game itself. It was way you were playing it, because you were playing like this 3D environment but with the D-pad. So that was kind of hard when you're trying to like do like good angle platforming jumps. That kind of made it difficult. But yeah, it was a great game.
What say you, Seymour?
I mean, it's basically Super Mario 64 reskinned.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was a classic game. But to have it was game changing, because to have a 3D game on a mobile device was a big thing at the time. We didn't have iPhones. We didn't have, our Android phones, Samsungs. Nintendo DS was the thing to get 3D gaming. It was like getting your N64, but in your pocket. And
it was really cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Undead Nerd continues. If Gilbert Gottfried was still alive, he would be cast as Waluigi for sure. What are your thoughts on that, George? Gilbert Gottfried, the character Waluigi. Could you see that mix?
I could definitely kind of see that wild and crazy mix of how his charismatic persona, he could have brought to the character. Yeah, that loud, obnoxious kind of. Because, I mean, Gilbert actually had the kind of voice where it was like something that was like, it was funny. It was, but sometimes it could be like cringy to listen to it sometimes.
Well, it takes a certain kind of character. Like, I think he was great for Iago in Aladdin.
Yeah.
But Waluigi, I can kind of see that. I don't know.
I think actually that was a really spot on choice. Gilbert Gottfried, if he was still alive, for Waluigi, and Danny DeVito for Wario.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely. Absolutely. What say you, Seymour?
Yeah, that would have been a perfect cast. Unfortunately, we can't have him as Waluigi, so we have to pick another one. I would, I said Rob Schneider, but we could do even Michael Richards from Seinfeld. He could be a Waluigi. There was always that meme. There was a meme where George and Jerry is Mario and Luigi, and Newman and Kramer was Waluigi and Wario.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely.
Nice. Eva, are you on board with this? Like, did you think Gilbert Gottfried would have been a good Waluigi if he was still alive?
Yeah, because I think they obviously the voices are different, but I think they shared that kind of similar high pitched voice that Waluigi has. So I think that would have been good as well for that.
Yeah, it would have been interesting. Absolutely. I miss Gilbert Gottfried. I think he was a really funny dude. Undead Nerd, do you think it was a missed opportunity for Illumination not to make a Nintendo Cinematic Universe? This is interesting. What do you think, Seymour, on this Nintendo Cinematic Universe?
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Well, no, I was gonna. I mean, do we know they're not doing that though? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't. There was rumors that they're talking about it, but I'm like, that's rumors though. So nothing's ever being announced. And then there was that leaked email with Sony. They wanted to do one too, but it is a missed opportunity, because at the end of the day, we want Super Smash Brothers movie.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm telling you, to culminate into a Super Smash Brothers movie event would be out of control. Like, that'd be so good. What do you think, George?
Okay, so for me, here I might be a little bit in the minority here with this, but I'm going to try to explain it the best I can. As long as they don't kind of mess it up the way that Marvel did it, where it was like you have to like watch something to understand this movie and it's interconnected with this. I personally would do, and then if you do have a Super Smash Brothers movie and then you go back to adding more individual films, it becomes kind of lackluster. What I would do is get all the individual films out first. Let people resonate with the kind of characters that they're utilizing for the film, and then for like a grand finale to kind of like end the film franchises for that is do like maybe like a part 1 and a part 2 of like a Super Smash Brothers movie. Yeah. That's the route that I would go.
And that is, to be fair to Marvel, that kind of is what they implemented with their MCU. Like, you had the Thor movie, the Captain America movie, right? And then the Iron Man movie. Like, all these singles, right? And then it culminated into the one big, like, collaboration Avengers, film. The one thing, too, Nintendo, they're very, very quality-driven. So I think that with them involved... Now, I wouldn't have much faith in Illumination, like, on their own. I got to be honest with you. I don't like their product outside of, like, Nintendo. I'm not a big Illumination fan. I'm just not.
Yeah, same here.
Right? They're kid movies. At least with like Disney and Pixar, like they're movies that can kind of appeal to everybody. But Illumination is strictly just if you're not like 7 years old, it's like whatever. But Super Mario was a joint venture between Illumination and Nintendo, and it showed. It absolutely showed. So I trust Nintendo with the cinematic universe, but I don't know. What do you think, Emma?
So okay, so if they were to do a NCU, this is where I would disagree with all three of you about making Legend of Zelda a live action. And this is why, because I would want a consistency in the style of movie. So if you're gonna have EU, I would want all the films to be the same type of animation. And it seems just like if you play Legend of Zelda, like at least like the recent games, they have that cartoony look anyway. So I don't know what the difference between having it as a movie and it as a game is different. So if they're going to do an NCU, I'd rather have a consistent animation like Mario's a cartoon, Legend's a cartoon, Kirby, all that stuff, right? I want it all to be a animation style. I don't want to have like one be animation, one be live action, or whatever. But if they're not doing an NCU, I'm fine with the different approaches.
You wouldn't be into like a mixed blend of live action and animation, no.
No,
yeah, I wouldn't.
Any sense.
Yeah, that'd be weird. But that's a great point, though, right? Because I get why a Zelda would make a good live action because I think it could be beautiful. Like we said earlier, you can do like a Lord of the Rings kind of vibe or whatever. But then you sort of forego the NCU though, because like it's not all animation. Interesting point, Eva. Very, very interesting point.
If I had to pick and choose, again, I'm probably going to be in the minority here. I would forego the NCU.
Oh, cancel, George. Just cancel. Just can't. You know what, George? You know what? Here we go, brother. I'm telling you.
I had to look there for a second because I was like, wait, there was 4. There's 3. Who's missing? And I'm like, oh shit, it's me.
I was playing with you.
You're good, bro.
You would rather forego?
I would forego the NCU if it took. I mean, I think an animated Zelda would be cool. I just think that it would be kind of better utilized as live action. Or if they were going to do an animated, I wouldn't mind them kind of do like an anime style with Zelda. Maybe that's where it can kind of go. Like it would have to be some sort of different style and look as opposed to like Pokemon or Kirby or something. Because when you look at these characters, they're kind of like rough edged kind of characters, like in this like kind of like woodsy kind of Forbidden Kingdom type of thing.
Very, very, very specific. This woodsy Forbidden Kingdom. I like that, George. I like that. Very, very good. Now, George, this next question is specifically for you, my friend. Maybe here is asking question for George. What's your favorite Mario line? But you have to say it in your best Mario voice.
Okay.
Come on, Italiano.
Okay, so it's probably for me like every time, like I think of Mario, it's just that famous line that he goes, "It's me, Mario." Oh,
that's good.
Which is kind of weird because I usually never make that sound unless I'm. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my favorite. It's me, Mario.
Mario.
That's a spicy meatball.
Yes, it is. This is actually a shout out to John Campia, believe it or not. This is very funny. Eva, you watched Campia. You remember this?
Yeah. Bro. Fuck. Go.
Yeah. Well, we won't discuss this, but he was analyzing what some still shots or some leaks or whatever.
I remember this one. Yeah, like the second he posted that, I knew what this was referencing to.
Campia was really breaking it down. I tell you. We'll just say that much. Yep, exactly. Mike here says Nintendo got scared from announcing games super far in advance as Metroid Prime 4 was announced in 2017. They had to restart development partway through. We're still waiting for it in 2024. Seymour, what's the deal with? I am not familiar with the Metroid situation. What's going on with this?
I mean, Nintendo doesn't really talk about what's happening in the background. I don't know why, but I'm okay for the delays. But because like I said, like you want to make the game great, so they might have didn't like the decision that we're going, and they probably just scrapped the whole thing and redone it. But now we're waiting for it, and people are getting impatient. I'm okay with it. You're probably okay with it, but a lot of fans are not okay with it. So so that's why right now they're not trying to release any news until they know for sure that it's gonna be released that day.
Okay.
So when we hear about the Super Mario movie, the second one, they must have been already in development, making it to ensure that it's going to be completed at the time. Because Nintendo does not want to make a mistake. Nintendo, they're a very Japanese company, and when they make a mistake, they feel like they're being very dishonest to their fans.
Interesting. Now, Metroid's an interesting franchise. I forget about, which I shouldn't, because it's actually a great franchise. But we're talking like the NCU, right? Like, would that be a movie? Like, George, for Metroid, would you make that animated or would you make that live action? I'm kind of thinking more live action than
That's what I'm thinking. And see, this is where I think, honestly, because you have like such a big portfolio with these games and these characters, and certain styles fit better live action than animated, than if you can't really have a mix of a live action and a animated Super Smash Bros. That's where I feel like the NCU is just, I don't think it would really work. I'd probably, because again, are you gonna sacrifice the quality of what would be better for an individual film just to have that one great film with everybody in it?
Right.
And I just think with this kind of branding, I just feel like it's better just for all of them to have their individual movies.
I'm kind of leaning in that direction actually now, George, because I'm seeing that, and like I said earlier on the show, it's like each of these IP within the Nintendo branding has a very distinct like style or whatever, and it kind of like needs a different approach. So, some of them are better live action, some are better animation. Like, I couldn't really see like Illumination doing a Metroid movie. It's not their style. Like, that doesn't really,
and even if it was another company, I just don't see Metroid just being animated. I mean, you could do it. Anything could be done animated, but it's like, in comparison, what would look more realistic, what would fit more of that character, that gaming style.
Yeah.
I think Metroid would be better as a live action, the same as with Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's the Yuba?
I think so. Actually, I just had an idea. What if you had the NCU, but you just had it like a kind of like the multiverse thing? So that way, it just makes sense if you want to bring the characters together. That would make more sense because you have a multiverse, you have live action stuff, and then you have like the cartoony animation stuff coming together, right? You know what I mean?
Now, in Super Smash Brothers, though, do these characters, they keep the style of their respective games, or do they all kind of conform to one style in those games?
Well, and so that's what I mean. They're all kind of one Nintendo like cartoon animation style.
Cartoon, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like that. If you had just the NCU to like before you have Smash Brothers, you have a live action Link, and then you'll have a cartoon Mario, right? And then to me, it would just be kind of weird if you just had just one universe that wasn't cohesive in that sense. But no, I think that's where George is right. Just forgo having an NCU. I mean, you don't need to have one, right? Just make awesome Nintendo movies. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, and I think right now too, with Marvel kind of struggling right now.
Yeah.
Like, obviously when Marvel was like super, super hot, everybody wanted to get on that cinematic universe like gravy train. But it's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit since Marvel has had trouble even keeping up its own MCU,
Now, I have a question for you fellas, because being that we're speaking of Super Smash Brothers, the type of format that the game is, it's all these different characters just kind of going head to head in like a battle arena sort of thing. So whether they're villains, whether they're heroes, they're all just kind of going at one another to see who is the top winner. How would you incorporate that into a storyline for a film? What would be your approaches on it?
Oh, I was gonna say technically they do have a villain overarch.
Yeah.
Master Hand.
Right.
Yeah. So
but as far as like them battling each other, would it just be them just teaming up together rather than battling each other?
Good point. Yeah. I mean,
Well,
or you know what you could do is have like, so okay, so Seymour's right. All these Smash Bros. Games have had like a villain kind of overarch like story. So Master Hand, Crazy Hand, Giga Bowser, and then the other like was it the newer kind of big baddies in the Brawl and all the other games. I forget their names, but you could have something to where maybe you have like a Dragon Ball Super type of thing where each like universe, I guess, you could probably have like they're collected to fight like in a tournament, and
right.
then they all find out that the person who collected them all is actually a big baddie that wants to actually rule and take over everything, and then they fight together to destroy it. Maybe they can do that.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. I picture like a Super Smash Brother movie, basically like the part in Super Mario Brothers where Mario had to fight Donkey Kong. That kind of vibe, right? Where it's like,
What if they did it like a animated version of like the Hunger Games, where they have to battle each other to stay alive?
that'd be
Well,
pretty cool.
Well, the things like that, when you get closer to like the end part of the game, like in the story, the darker the game gets. So, like the big thing is like these characters. So what is like the Smash Bros. Characters are actually like trophies or like trophy statues, and they come alive. And then in one parts of the story, I think it was a Brawl or one of the later ones, they kind of get turned into like kind of like zombified versions of themselves, and they start attacking you. So that's what they did in that story in the latest Smash Bros. Game. Um, but yeah, I mean, they'd have to find a way for a reason why these characters would fight each other. So
Yeah, and that would be, I'm sure they could find people, competent directors and what have you, that can kind of figure that all out. And then you have Nintendo on board, which, so I'm sure they could figure it out. But it's just, I think the big issue though is like the mediums, the various mediums. Each property needs a different medium kind of to be done appropriately, and then how do you do that,
exactly, but then also too, if you're going to do a Smash Brothers movie, which Smash Brothers kind of game are you going to kind of go off of? The 64, GameCube, Wii U, Switch, because each game had a bigger roster list of characters, which brought in, like third-party IP games like Solid Snake, like Sonic, Sora. So, which roster are you going to use?
Then you'd be going like full Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where you'd have to get like all licensing agreements from these other studios.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, look at, you have, even right now, you're going to have Sony doing the Zelda movie, and then Universal is doing the Mario stuff. Like, even if you wanted to connect these movies, it would be a mess because you have multiple studios. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Crazy. Mike here says Nintendo has a philosophy where they used matured tech that's cheaper to make new experiences. Seymour right on that. That's why the specs aren't as impressive as Xbox or PlayStation. Anything you want to add to that, Seymour?
Pretty much spot on.
There you go, spot on.
And yes, I was right.
there he is. And Undead Nerd here says, who would you cast as Samus for a Metroid movie? Who would you cast, Seymour, like for Metroid?
Emma Watson.
Okay.
I can see her doing it.
That's interesting. You know what's funny? There's a lot of okay. Seymour, I got to talk to you about this, brother. So there's a lot of talk. We talk about all the time, right? Like, people kind of like this obsession with like woke,
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember with the whole thing with Metroid that it was revealed that she was a woman? Like, remember that there was like that big reveal that she was a woman. Can you imagine if that happened today?
Well,
could you imagine?
For me, I didn't even care, right? It was like, okay.
No, I didn't either. No, I know. But in the current environment, though, how would that go today, right?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird. Go ahead, Eva.
All you gotta do is make her sexy, man. That's all you gotta do.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. No, exactly. No, but that's the thing too. It's like, it's just different times. No one cared back then. I thought it was dope, But in this day and age now, people just get all weird about stuff.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You announce it. They're gonna have everybody on YouTube. Oh my God, go woke, go broke. Another female strong lead. Blah blah blah. Like, shut up, dude. Like,
it's annoying. It really is annoying.
I would actually go for more like of a like a Emma Stone, kind of like someone that would have like a little bit more of a rougher kind of attitude.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean that could work. But who would you cast for Samus if you could pick anybody, any actress you wanted?
Oh, honestly, I don't know. I'm not familiar with like a lot of actors or actresses like you guys are because I don't really delve into like names of people or stuff. So I don't know. Just whoever can play the part really good, I guess. And if they make it a female, okay, cool. I'm down with that. You know, make a badass female that shoots shit and spins and whatever. You know, I'm cool. Like, do it.
Right. Exactly. I'm totally drawing a blank right now. Black Widow. Who?
Scarlett
Oh,
Johansson.
ScarJo. Yeah, I think she would be a dope Samus. Actually, I think
No,
she'd
I
be
say,
really good.
why not make it her sister, the blonde one?
Oh, okay, that would work. Absolutely would work. Let me see here. We got Starship 824. If they do a Super Smash Brothers movie, it needs to be in the same animation style as the Orbital trailers were, in my opinion. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting. Undead Nerd here says, do you think for a Smash Brothers movie they should do a Spider-Man No Way Home, but for old video game movies such as Ben Schwartz Sonic and Oscar Isaac as Snake, if that ever comes out? What say you, Seymour?
Weren't we just discussing about that?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a sec. But as Snake, okay, I love Metal Gear Solid. I want to see a Metal Gear Solid movie. Okay, that has to be live action, definitely, because it's very more on the more realistic side of things. But I mean, I love Oscar Isaac. I'd be down to see him play as Snake if you could. But the problem with Snake though is that he has a very recognizable voice. You know, so
Right.
I mean, maybe they might have to, if they had a different actor playing as Snake, they probably had to get David Hayter to actually do a voiceover on the character for the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kiki and Luca, I still don't understand why Ahsoka Japan got a Yoshi ride and Hollywood did not. We got hosed. Yeah, that's weird. I don't understand that either, really. I mean, I get it. We're kind of limited on space here, but I think they should have incorporated that. I think that we were talking about this the other day, right, George?
Mm-hmm.
With Universal, like Nintendo World is a great land, but when you only have that one attraction in there, it's not enough to really carry it, you know? So I think they needed that extra attraction. Now, we do know they're going to expand Super Nintendo World out here in Hollywood. Rumor is it might be a Luigi's Mansion attraction, which would be very, very cool. But I think as of right now, I think just that one like D-ticket level ride probably isn't enough. I think that Yoshi ride would have helped. What say you, George?
Yeah, I think they needed something to kind of offset the land than just have one attraction. I mean, I would have still have done something a little bit more upbeat for like a second attraction in Hollywood, being that Mario Kart wasn't really what you call like a full-on e-ticket in my eyes. But I mean, if they couldn't really fit it in at the time, I think Yoshi would have been a good choice because you already kind of have the layout of the land itself. You would just have to incorporate the ride system within the land, because then you could have Yoshi just kind of go around, kind of like do like in a sense like what the People Mover does in Tomorrowland, in a sense.
Yeah, and I think Hollywood, they kind of need more of these kind of slow, kind of chill rides, because even like people say like, well, you have Transformers, you have this and that. It's like, yeah, but like that's not a chill ride though, you know. Like even if it's not a coaster, that doesn't necessarily mean it's chill. So like you have like, you know, Forbidden Journey, that's not really a chill ride, you know. Neither is Transformers. There's a lot of those kind of throw you around kind of rides. It would be nice to have something where you can just get in it and just kind of hang out, you know. But I know, Ebba, I know you thought it needed a little bit more. What say you?
Oh yeah, no, it absolutely. Okay, so it needs to be bigger. I've touted that the entire time. It needed more than one attraction, definitely. And here's the thing. This kind of ties my point in with the name of it, right? Is you call this Super Nintendo World. All right, that's cool, but you open a land that's just Mario. Okay, I know you're gonna expand later, but that should have happened all at once with Super Nintendo World as the head name. Because right now you just have Mario, and if you had Yoshi in it, maybe you could have called it, you know, Super Mario World, and that could have tied in with this with the Super Nintendo game where you have Mario and then Yoshi, you know, because in that game, you know, you're riding on Yoshi and everything. So my problem is really with the name of the land. because it's not a full world. I get it. They're building there. I understand that. But with how it's small, the name is not reflective of what it is right now, and then the lack of a second attraction in it.
That's a good point about the name not reflecting the land. It's Super Nintendo World, but it's all Mario.
It's all Mario.
Yeah, it's all Mario. That's why I was really excited about Donkey Kong coming, because then it would have been more reflective of the Nintendo.
Exactly.
And then that way Donkey Kong would have offset the kind of like D ticket attraction that Mario Kart is. Then you could have had something a little bit more cohesive in the land, where you could have something a little bit more thrilling but still good for the kids, but then you could also have that, the E ticket and the D ticket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And maybe here says A+ Mario voice, you passed the Italiano test.
Thank you, maybe.
There we go. And Undead Nerd here says, what do you think of an R-rated Ice Climbers movie? I used to play that game it was for the NES, right? I think that's such an old school game, dude. That's like crazy old school. That's funny.
What's the name? Mama and Papa or some crap?
I don't remember the names. I remember playing the game. I don't remember the names. And then I played that and Kid Icarus a lot. Man, that's way before your time, Ebba. Way before your time.
But they are in Smash Brothers, so.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I'll tell you this: the Smash Brothers freaking Ice Climbers piss me off, dude. See, I don't know how much you, but they're annoying because Ice Climbers they come as a pair, and so if you kill they come as a pair of one being the main character and the other one being like a secondary character. You have to kill off the secondary character and to then fight the first one, but then sometimes you have to figure out which one's the main character to then just end the game and take down their lives, because they're so annoying. You're getting hit double with everything, double ice, double hammers. Oh, it's so irritating, dude. Like,
I agree.
You share the frustration, Seymour?
Yep.
And we got Mike here. He says Smash Brothers has a story, but it's really just an excuse to have all these characters fight each other. Yeah, pretty much.
More or less.
Pretty much. Undead Nerd here says, and as an anti-woke guy myself, I give Metroid a pass because it's 10 times more original than Taskmaster. Yeah. No, Metroid's a great character, and Karen Gillan, that is actually top tier.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, that's a really good choice.
That's really, really good. I like that a lot.
Okay, so here's my thing. I don't know who that is. Unless you show me a face, I don't know who that is.
Nebula in Guardians.
That's good. Okay, see, that's what I mean. I don't know a lot of actors like names.
If you watch Doctor Who, Amy Pond.
Who's that?
Oh, you don't watch Doctor Who?
Okay, never mind.
No.
Okay, have you seen the Jumanji movies, the latest ones with The Rock and Kevin Hart?
Just trailers. I don't want to watch those.
But you saw the girl with the long hair?
Yeah.
That's her.
Oh, that's her? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's her. Silver Surfer would be so hot as a girl. I agree with that, actually. You could make a pretty hot Silver Surfer. Yeah, absolutely. Who would you guys cast? George, I got to ask you. Who would you cast as a super hot Silver Surfer?
Gosh. It has to be. Yeah, because honestly, it would have to be someone that has like a how do I put it? A very nice physique, and has like all the.
You went for down here, George, when you said physique. Are you saying something? You more of a butt guy or not?
Yes.
No,
I am, that's for sure.
I do like the booty. No, it would have to be somebody that. See, actually, you said Scarlett Johansson for in Metroid,
Samus,
but I would actually say her for Silver Surfer.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that could work. Absolutely. I could definitely see that. What about? Oh, you don't really know actresses, right, Ebba? No.
I'm lost.
What about any like porn stars you want to throw in the mix or not?
Oh well, I got a few.
You got a couple of those. Okay. I was kidding. And Seymour, who would you, if they were going to make a female Silver Surfer, who would you put in there?
I really don't know. I'm trying to think of like young actresses so that they can be in the movies for the future. I really don't know because we got like the Emmas, right? We got Emma Stone, Emma Watson. I'm looking at some of the list, like Megan Fox. No, maybe I don't know.
Oh, that's pretty hot though, Seymour.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, right? We already have what's her name? That was in the new Spider-Man movie, Madam Web. Sydney Sweeney, but she's already in. Like the Silver Surfer is a MCU. No, a
It'd be
Marvel.
yeah.
So I don't think we can even put her. I don't know, really. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough
Yeah.
one. Our boy Tones over here, Florence Pugh as Silver Surfer. That's interesting. That's interesting. And then Undead Nerd here says Kevin Sorbo. I'm not familiar with Kevin Sorbo.
Oh, Kevin Sorbo. He played Hercules in the Hercules show in the 90s.
Oh, okay. I remember that show. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Starship 824. I really hope we get a Zelda land. Yeah. Well, we are getting a Zelda land, but I think it's going to be in Florida. Islands of Adventure is actually getting one, so that will be very, very cool. I wish we would get that out here in Hollywood. You know, if they can find the space and kind of manage that, I would love that. That'd be great. Absolutely.
Wait, hold on a second. So, George.
Yes.
Islands of Adventure is getting a separate Nintendo land, while Epic Universe is getting another one.
Zelda is going into where oh god, what's the name of it? Where Poseidon's Fury is, the Lost Continent. That's where Zelda's aiming to be put in.
It sounds like a strange decision. Why would you separate your Nintendo IPs into two different parks?
And
I think it's more so the same thing what they did with Potter. It's like they're going to kind of like overutilize the same IP for multiple parks, and I think that's where it's going to kind of offset. I think in the end, my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think they're gonna do what, like, I think George is right. What they do with Potter, every Universal Park from here on out will probably get a Nintendo land. Although I have heard the UK park supposedly isn't getting any of these, which is weird to me. But we'll see if that actually pans out or not.
That's like the number one reason why I would go is Nintendo. So if they're not having it in those, like the UK parks, doesn't interest me as much.
Yeah, no.
See,
yeah,
but for
absolutely.
me now I know this because we were talking about Zelda, but for me, like when it comes for Pokemon, I would want Pokemon to not. I'm going to try to see if this makes sense. Not be incorporated in the Super Nintendo World area, in a sense where I don't want just like an attraction of Pokemon to be implicated into that land. Like if you're going to do Pokemon, you need a whole entire land, a whole entire section, like by itself. Because for me, I just feel like the Pokemon universe is it's the biggest IP in the world. So it's like, I don't want to see it subdued to just a single based attraction that's just linked to Super Nintendo World.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree because Pokemon has so much potential. And now, of course, this is like just me personally, right? Like I'm very biased to the first two generations of Pokemon. Those are my favorite. I'm
right there with you.
Those. Oh, perfect. See, I got George on my side. But I mean, because like I know we have like the newer generations and people can like them, whatever. But but all in all, Pokemon has a wide range of characters. Pokemon, regions, whatever. You can do a lot with Pokemon, and I agree with George. You could make like a huge land out of that, definitely.
Now, I skipped ahead a little bit just because it's kind of in the realm of what we're talking about now, but I'll go back to the other comments. But our boy Tones from the Bad Thought Studio says if Disney wants to make money, they need to make a Fortnite land. What do you guys think about that?
Are they going to include DLC into that and charge you just like nickel and dime you to death?
Hey man, maybe they will. Maybe they will. Would you be okay with that? Not the nickel and diming, but would you be okay with a Fortnite land, Ebba?
No, I don't like Fortnite.
You're not a Fortnite guy? What about you, Seymour? Or George?
No, really quick. I don't think that would fit well in a Disney park. It could fit like as a combination kind of dual partnership like in the gaming world, but not a theme park.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe something like in Epcot. Like the Epcot has like a lot of like, or at least they did in the '90s, like where you can go in and you can play games.
They could utilize the Wonders of Life Pavilion because that whole area was supposed to be the Play Pavilion anyway. So that maybe if they did like a Fortnite Pavilion, in that sense, over where the in the Wonders of Life Pavilion, you could do something like of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's funny. Tones came in. He says, "Of course, I came in when George was talking about booty."
Yeah, of course. It's so on brand, George. So on brand. So, George, well, how would you rate Tones 1 to 10?
You know what, Tones, actually, from getting to know you, brother, and like all that, you're a solid 10 out of 10, bro.
I would agree. We love Tones. You guys, everyone at home needs to check out their content on Bad Thoughts Studio and Bad Thoughts Podcast on YouTube. Actually, all platforms, as Tones always says, on all platforms. But support them; they're awesome. They're absolutely awesome. Let me see here. Go ahead and see where else are we at here. He says here, why not utilize in the parks? Yeah, they should be utilized, but maybe not as a land. Maybe as another experience. Yeah, go ahead, Ebba.
Yeah, so I brought this up before, guys, in another video, that I really think Disney should be utilizing stuff like Kingdom Hearts more into the parks. So definitely like that they could utilize and should be utilizing more gaming into the parks. Absolutely. I just don't think Fortnite is one of them.
That I agree with you, and actually, I would be a huge fan. I would definitely sign that right off to put Kingdom Hearts. If they were going to do anything of a type of a gaming land, Kingdom Hearts would be phenomenal.
Be great, absolutely amazing. Okay, so for the final segment of this live show, we're gonna compare and contrast Mario and Sonic. Now, this idea was brought to me by these two fine gentlemen below, Mr. Michael Webber and Mr. Seymour Duck. So, Mr. Duck, if you kind of want to so we have this character Mario, legendary, iconic character. We have Sonic, who is actually legendary in and of its own right. In terms of these two characters, though, how would you compare them? Like, which character do you believe has sort of stood the test of time better, and what have you, or are they kind of equal? Where do you stand with that?
I'm a fan of both, but I'm just a bigger fan of Mario, and I think Mario did better throughout the years.
Okay.
Like, you can even see it now, just even with theme parks and movies and video games. You can see the appeal. You can, even with the Mario Day, they announce a lot of Lego stuff, and there's a reason for that, because all the new fans that are coming in, just even from the movie, are now like in Mario. It's a multi-generational, like, iconic IP just for Mario. And like, for today, for example, I was reading the article that Theme Park Wizard did today, and he was saying that Mario is like Universal's Mickey Mouse. And I agree with that. I know some people don't agree. I think we discussed it before about that. But like, I agree. I think that's how iconic Mario is. Whereas with Sonic, it's at a much lower level.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. What do you think, George, in terms of Mario versus Sonic?
So for me, I'm with Seymour. I'm Team Mario. It's not that I don't love Sonic. He is really cool, but I feel like the story arc behind the character is very like one note, so to speak. I think that you get a little bit more of a in-depth perception with the storyline with Mario and the characters. Of like what the main goal is. I just think he's more. I like Sonic, but I think that he's more relatable. Mario's more relatable, more likable. It's, as Seymour said, I think it's like Universal's kind of like top tier mascot to kind of like match Disney's Mickey Mouse. So, as I said, I like Sonic. It's not that I don't. Even in the video game realm, I always enjoyed the Mario games more than the Sonics. I played Sonic, but I don't know. I connected more with the characters and the storyline growing up, and I think kind of going back to my childhood, that's why it always hit home for me with Mario.
Now, Seymour, you were telling me, I believe, a little while ago that internally Nintendo, it looks at Mario as like the next Mickey, right? Globally.
Yeah. Miyamoto there was an article back in like 2019 or 2020, and he was saying his goal was to make Mario more iconic than Mickey Mouse, and that competitiveness. And I think that's great, because competition's always good. I'm always welcome competition, and it makes like the other party, like Disney, strive to do better.
Absolutely.
But yeah, his goal was like, I want people to enjoy Mario just as much as Mickey Mouse. I want them for years to pass on, even from their kids and their kids, to like Mario, multi-generational. And I'm seeing that right now. I'm seeing that for like Mario was the first IP for me before Disney, before anything. It's like the first game I played everything. It was my childhood, and when I have kids, if I have kids, I'll be playing Mario, and I think I'll be playing Mario more than watching Disney. I will still watch Disney. I will still, play games like Sonic, but it's this Mario, this entertainment that I like. It's multi-generational, and I think Nintendo did like a home run with it.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
I could kind of see Seymour lining up his little ducklings and like just passing along like the game controllers. Like, it's like this is the way now.
Yeah, no, and I think that like with Mario, it's amazing because we're all different ages here. You know what I'm saying? And even different generations or whatever. I think I'm the oldest here. I'm not mistaken, but we all share like what, to your point, Seymour, like. We all have Mario has been part of all our childhoods. You know what I'm saying? Says a lot. That says a lot. And that does point to like another kind of Mickey Mouse kind of entity, Now, Mr. Webba, bad thoughts, our buddy Tones. He's got all his chips on Michael is picking Sonic. He's going all in on that. Is Tones right? Or is he going to lose a lot of money right now?
No, he's right. He's right. And I will tell all three of you, you're all wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No.
No, just kidding. Just kidding. No, actually, to what Seymour said. Okay, Sir Seam. I like Sonic and the franchise and the characters more. I like both. I'm totally with Seymour. I like both. I played both growing up. I just resonate and like the characters from the Sonic franchise more. I do. Now, that being said, Seymour is right. Nintendo has done a very good job of having a consistent, cohesive gameplay when they transition from 2D to 3D. They know what their characters are. With Sega, they really dropped the ball. Like especially after Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Heroes, they kind of just went just down the hill, and every game, because no game was working, they kept changing gameplay after gameplay after gameplay, and they're just kind of trying to throw like stuff at a wall and see what sticks. That's not how you do things.
Right.
And so Sega, they really struggled with the character. They really struggled with making a good story for these games, and it's unfortunate. But actually, looking at one of the comments from Undead Nerd, he was right. When it comes to Sonic, the fandom either loves or hates everything. And he's really right. I've been involved in the community, and people are so like either, oh, this is really great, or oh, this is the shittiest thing on the planet. So you get like extreme both sides. But I love Sonic, because to me, right, like I told you guys, I'm an MCU fan. But I didn't grow up reading comic books. I didn't grow up liking superheroes. My superheroes, and this is going to sound funny, my superheroes were Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and all that stuff. Like, to me, those are superheroes. You have these animal creatures that, are bipedal, intelligent, and they have, like, pretty much superpowers, and they save the world. So, to me, they were, like, my superheroes, and that's what I loved. And they have personalities. Not saying that Mario and Zelda and all of them, like, don't, but I just kind of relate more with them. And of course, the music again. Undead Nurse says Mario is way more creative. Sonic is Frank a convention with 2000s rock. But hey, I will say though, Sonic has awesome music. So does Mario, but Sonic has always had awesome rock music. OG, I know you don't like rock, but they have always had banger rock soundtracks, dude. Amazing. And it really fits with Sonic's style, right? Speed, edgy, got a little bit of attitude. So I really love all of that. But yeah, I agree with Seymour. Sega's really mishandled the character and the franchise. Nintendo has been going bonkers and crazy and succeeding with their Mario franchise. It is what it is. But I do love both. Again, I grew up playing both, but I just resonate more with the Sonic characters and the story.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I was actually a fan of Sonic too when I was a kid. I like Sonic quite a bit actually. I would create my own because I love to draw. I still do actually, but I would create my own little Sonic characters when I was a kid and stuff. It was a cool franchise. But you're right, Ebba. It's like I feel like Nintendo has done a much better job at that brand cultivating that brand. Nintendo's very good at that. Matchable. Go ahead, George.
No, I was just going to say really quick, and OG, you sometimes you style that Sonic hairstyle too.
That's true. Yeah,
Right.
It's inspired by, right? Just like the Swiss Family
inspired
Treehouse.
by.
Yeah, this is inspired by Sonic. Absolutely.
But I will say, OG. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but the most recent stuff with Sonic, in my opinion, has been really good. I know fans are still complaining and nitpicking about this or that, but Sonic Frontiers, I really loved it. I had really good Sonic Adventure vibes from that game. I thought that was a great direction they were going in. Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 from Paramount. Now we have Knuckles, the live action show coming out on Paramount Plus. So I think they're really doing well with this franchise. But yeah, I mean, I think they could start to go up from here and hopefully not crash and burn again. But
yeah, we will see. Now maybe he's asking you, Seymour, who's your Mario Kart main?
I have two. I switch. One is Rosalina, and the second one is a custom me, but using a coin block outfit.
Oh, that's interesting. It's customized?
Yeah, so when you have the Switch, you can make your own custom me as an avatar, and then within some of the games you can implement them. In Mario Kart, I didn't realize it for the longest time. You can actually make use your Miis and have these custom ones. There's ones with blocks, but like bricks, and then there's another one with golden coin blocks. So I use that one all the time, or I switch with Rosalina.
Oh, okay, interesting. Now, Ebba, do you have a main when you play Mario Kart, or?
Oh, I got two mains on Mario Kart.
There you go. What are they?
Actually, probably three. So by three would be in this order would be Toad, Yoshi, Bowser. Those are my top three.
Okay. Nice. And you just watch out for those blue shells, Eva. Just watch out for those blue shells. You know what I'm saying?
I hate that name, dude. Hey, you know what's funny? Okay, guys, story time a little bit. So I remember when I was like maybe 10 or 11, I was playing Mario Kart 64 with my mom, right? And here's the thing, she's awful at games, just awful, right? She's just kind of where she drives backwards, hits the wall, all that good stuff, right? Well, anyways, I was kind of letting her win on one of the maps, right? I'm like, oh, look at you, you're in first place, good job, right?
You were letting her win, Eva? Are you sure about that, brother?
well, check this out. On the third lap, she's right before the finish line. I come, dun 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 dun, bam, knock her right before she hits the finish line. First place, baby.
Oh man, that's cold-hearted. That's your mom, bro.
I took her from like first place to like sixth.
That's messed up, dude.
That's just so fucking wrong on so many levels.
Oh man, that's wild.
I don't know what's worse, the fact that you actually did that period, or the fact that you made her think she was gonna win. And
that's evil, bro. That's so good. Oh man, did it make this sound? There you go. Oh man. Oh, that's funny, dude. That's funny. I like that. Okay, so Tones over here says, "Why is OG passing off a bowl with a handle on as a mug?" I know, dude. Look at the sizes.
That's huge, dude.
Clink, clink. Actually, dude, okay. So it's actually because maybe here says he's drinking that bone broth. Actually, I'm drinking that Modelo. That's what's in the mug. But yeah, But I do drink bone broth. I do drink bone broth. She's absolutely right on that. Very, very good for you. Let me see here. To the Mario Kart, maybe says, okay, Roslyn, Maine. And Mike here says, both Sonic and Mario have awesome soundtracks. Take this as someone who grew up playing both. Frontiers was a lot of fun. Go ahead, Evan.
Agreed. Yep.
I'm sorry. I can't get over you did that to your mom. That's just like so fucking wrong.
I know, right? I'm telling you. This was like, okay, so Eva, you mapped this out. Like you knew you were going to let her win. And at the very end, you were going to do that to your mom, dude? Or did it just work out that way?
No, it just kind of worked out that way because we're playing, right? And I don't remember if we're playing on easy or medium, but it was on the third map before the last one. It was like one of the beach levels. And then so something happened where I kept getting hit with stuff. And so I kind of fell back. and then she was playing as Toad, so she was about to be first, and then I ended up just randomly getting like the star, the power up star. So I just took my chance. Dun, 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 and because when you get it, you're invincible, and your cart speeds up faster. So you start passing everybody. You hit them, you fly through. So right before she hit the finish line, boom! I got her. I was like, yes.
Oh man! And what was your mom's reaction to that? What did she say?
I feel bad because she was like, "What happened?" I was like, "Sorry, I had to start. I came in. I swiped you."
Oh, that's cold. That is really cool.
At least she was a great sport about it. At least she wasn't the type of person that ran in and grabbed the big wooden spoon saying, "You son of a bitch!"
Oh man! So she was winning. Ebba comes in for the steal, and we heard the.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
That's great stuff, Ebba. That's great stuff. Really good stuff. Oh, that's funny, dude. That is really funny. Mike here says, can we have a graphic for out of context George comments? Absolutely. We'll get that done.
Yeah, we have to get that done. We'd probably need a whole entire playbook of that stuff.
We have, which I always forget to do, but we do have a censor for George. But I never utilize it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, wait, here's the thing. Mike, here's the thing. Do you really want a graphic for George? I mean,
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I give the team full creative control. So if George gets a graphic, George is at the design studio basically, and we don't know what we're gonna get with that one. I'll tell you that. Yeah, that's funny, dude.
I'll have to cook something up.
Yeah, exactly. Chef Boyo George. Undead Nerd here says, "Have you seen the Robot Chicken Mario Kart spoof?" I have not.
I haven't.
You haven't either? Seymour, have you seen that? The Robot Chicken
Mario Kart? But it's been years. It's.
Is it good?
I would have. Yes, yeah. It was funny at the time when I was watching it, but I have to rewatch it. It's one of those things where you haven't seen it in years and you can't really remember what happened. But you know that you enjoyed it. Yeah. There was also another parody thing with the SNL with what's his name, Pedro Pascal, where he did Mario Kart live action.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Mario Kart live action with Pedro Pascal. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I would recommend. Yeah, I would recommend watching that and the Robot Chicken Mario Kart spoof.
Okay. No, Robot Chicken is freaking hilarious, and they have a lot of funny Star Wars stuff too, actually, like with Palpatine and stuff, which I just absolutely love. Were you ever a fan of that show, George? You ever watch that? Any Robot Chicken?
I've seen bits and pieces. I've never really sat down and watched a full episode. There were certain segments of it that I did find funny, but I never sat down and watched from beginning to end. Yeah.
And Undead Nerd here says, Pedro Pascal is in everything. We need to stop him. Well, he is. He's going to be in Fantastic Four. He's in Mando. Actually, he was really good. He played a detective in Narcos Mexico on Netflix. Phenomenal job. Absolutely phenomenal job. Mr. Tones, what is your guys' go-to dishes you cook for a lady when you have her over for a date? For me, it's Korean food. What about you, George?
Easy. It's me, Mario.
Oh, George, you're the main dish, brother? You're the main dish, brother? Oh, my gosh. Look at you, ladies, man. What about you, Seymour? If you're going to have a lady over, what are you cooking?
I'm cooking steak.
Oh, see, Seymour. That's it right there. That's it right there. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I do love Korean food. I love Korean food and Italian also. Korean, Italian food.
Yeah, I was just gonna say probably like a type of a pasta for me. Yeah,
exactly. Like a good Italian boy.
Good
Italian boy. Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And that nerd here says my favorite. Oh, here comes Michael Webber. See, Michael has to. He's our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So every now and then he has to go save the city and come back. So he's back. So Michael, you save a kitten out of the tree, or a burning car. What happened, brothers? What happened, Spider-Man?
Well, I gotta save the children. I gotta save the animals. You know how it goes. People get stuck on places. People get lost. I gotta go help them. Find their way. Save
Yeah,
the city.
he's Spider-Man. He's Spider-Man. Undead Nerd here says my favorite Robot Chicken Mario joke is when Luigi has Birdo. Do you know what?
Oh, get it?
That's gross. Oh, that's gross. Oh wow. Okay, it took me a second to process that. Then I remembered what Birdo looks like. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense when it's in Super Mario Brothers 2 when Birdo's shooting eggs out of there.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. That's hilarious.
That bruised the hell out of me.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Theme Park Horizons. Welcome, Theme Park Horizons. Really awesome to see you. What's up? How are y'all doing? We are all doing fantastic on this beautiful Mario Day. Thank you for joining us. And Theme Park Horizons asks, most anticipated movies y'all are looking forward to this year in 2024. You know what? After that Deadpool trailer, that's my number one right now.
Mm-hmm. That's mine too.
So, yeah, you too. I'm all in on that. That looks so good. What about you, Seymour? What are you looking forward to?
Deadpool and Ghostbusters and what's the Beetlejuice? Those three.
I always forget about Beetlejuice. Yes, absolutely.
I think actually what you said, Seymour, right in that order. It'd be Deadpool, Ghostbusters, Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Absolutely. Excellent taste, sir. Excellent taste. And Ebba, most anticipated.
This will be in this order. I mean, there might be other ones, but just by top 3. So this is in order from first to third. First one is Sonic the Hedgehog 3, of course. Deadpool, then Deadpool and Wolverine, and then Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish we all lived closer together and we can have an OG55 family field trip to the theater and watch Ghostbusters with Slimer.
Right? That'd be so. Hey,
you know what's actually funny? You said that because I was tempted to actually if I didn't have nothing else going on coming in my upcoming schedule, I was tempted to just go and buy a ticket.
Yeah.
To Florida because it's so close to me for a 2-hour flight and just meet him for that weekend and then just come right back.
George, you're crazy, bro. You are so crazy, but I love how your mind works. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The spontaneity is amazing. Lord Jonathan, thank you so much, Lord Jonathan, for joining us. Hello, should Peacock be renamed? Yeah, probably.
Yes,
probably.
It should be.
Probably needs to be renamed. Absolutely.
But would you real quick, brother? I just want to say, big shout out to Slimer.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and this is actually our friend Maybe's favorite drop. Slimers be sliming.
And all these dollars got commas that come with commas behind them. And all my slimers be sliming. And all my slimers be sliming. And all my slimers be sliming. And all my slimers be sliming.
There we go. And Tones, Bad Thought Studio, Rebel Moon is mine. Part 2, right, Tones? So part 1 came out, and I think there's a part 2. Yeah, I mean, I never saw Rebel Moon. I heard mixed things about it. I know, Tones, I know you loved it. I've heard a lot of good about it, and I've heard a lot of bad about it. But I got to check it out. Any of you gentlemen seen Rebel Moon on Netflix?
Nope. I saw the first one, and it's funny because I was actually talking to Tones about this when it first came out. I mean, for me personally, it was all right. I didn't I didn't care too much for the characters. My biggest gripe with the movie was there was too much slow motion in it. I like when slow mo is used, in good effective ways, but for me there was too much of it, and the characters themselves, besides the main character, I don't even remember her name, but the other characters I didn't really care about. But I am, I will see the second movie, right? Because I want to follow up the story. So I hope I like the second movie more.
That's fair. Absolutely fair. And Theme Park Horizons here says, I just want to say I love how many videos this channel is putting out about niche nerd stuff. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. I love listening to all your thoughts about Disneyland Forward and future Disney expansions. Well, thank you, Theme Park Horizons. We appreciate you. Yeah, we have a lot. Actually, there is tomorrow, right, George? A Disneyland Forward.
Tomorrow is, at 5 p.m. Pacific time is going to be, I believe, the first meeting but from what I've understood, that what Wizard told me was like it's to essentially confirm Disneyland Forward, and then I don't know I don't know if the one in May is to kind of like close out the the agreement, but what he
Yeah.
told me was that tomorrow is supposed to be to kind of like
Lock
the
it in.
first step to lock it in. Yeah.
Awesome. No, Wizard knows his stuff. If that's what he's telling you, I'm sure that's the case. But yeah, no, Horizons, we do appreciate you, and we have a lot of Disneyland Forward content coming out because we're in Disneyland Forward season right now. Okay, we're going right into it. It's going to be a bang.
Which I think is kind of funny. I know we're kind of going off topic, but I think it's funny that today actually marks the 15th anniversary of D23. Today, 15 years ago, is when the fan club started, and Bob Iger kind of gave a little few minute speech on D23 and everything. So, and tomorrow starts the weekday of the week. So I'm wondering if the D23 ticket pricing will be announced.
I hope so. We're kind of waiting for that because the OG crew, we will definitely be there at the D23 Ultimate Fan Experience, right? Ultimate Fan Experience. No more Expo. That's a weird, I don't know. I don't get that, but you know.
Yep.
Tones here continues. I think we can all agree we are all waiting for season 2 of House of Dragon. Yes, Tones. And Tones, when that drops, you and I have a lot of content to make, brother. A lot of content. Mr. Horizons here says, I want Andor season 2, but that's more than likely early 2025 now. Yeah.
You know what? With Andor, I really love how grounded it was, and like how grounded, rugged, realistic it was. It was a very nice character building show, and also too the character Cassie Andor with who's played by Diego Luna. I think that's his name. I just really like him as an actor. When I saw him in Rogue One, I just really liked it. I liked his character. So, and I want to see more of it. And it's funny because when people heard of the Andor show, everybody's like, I don't want to see anything about Andor, blah, blah, blah. We know what happens. And it's funny because here's the I'm the type of person, I really disagree with that mindset. Like, I don't care if I know what already happens because I'm still intrigued. If you can give me a really interesting story in that moment, then yeah, shoot it. I want to see it. But that's me.
Interesting.
Sorry, I sneezed. I had to mute everybody. Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. I don't like, it is a very closed-minded kind of fan thing. Like, I know how it ends, so I don't need to know the lead up. I want to know the story. If you have an interesting story to tell me, I'm cool with that. I mean, the prequel, I am not ashamed to say I am a fan of the Star Wars prequels. I love those movies.
I do too.
We knew the ending to that, you know what I'm saying? But it was still dope. The journey was dope, So I think that there's something to be said about that, Ebba. Well said. Tones here says, "Hey George, I'm surprised we didn't say Godzilla or Kong yet." Every time Tones has George on his channel, it's a Godzilla or a Kong.
It was. We didn't even plan it that way. We did the Godzilla 1 trailer. That was the first one. And I was like, okay, cool. And then he was like, hey, is anyone else doing anything tonight? He didn't say what we were doing. I'm like, oh, I'm actually open, to record. I haven't done anything with him since Godzilla 1. And then I get on and he's like, okay, we're gonna react to the Godzilla and Kong trailer. I'm like, oh, okay.
So funny. So funny. Yeah, no, the great stuff though. Make sure you check them out over at Bad Thought Studio. And maybe here says Ballerina is what I'm looking forward to. Ballerina, interesting. Very, very interesting.
Cool.
And Mr. Theme Park Horizons in regards to Disneyland Forward. It's a 2-part meeting. There's one tomorrow and then in April. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then this right here, I do apologize. I'd love some videos on Disney World Blue Sky ideas y'all might have. Just completely armchair imagineering different sections of the park. Disneyland 2. Funny you mentioned that, Theme Park Horizons, because maybe about a month ago, we announced a new show here on the channel called Orange Thoughts with actually Bad Thought Studio Tones. He's part of that show. He's in the chat right now. Our first episode is going to come out soon. We're still working on a release date, but we're going to be reimagining Disneyland's Tomorrowland. Will be the very first episode of that new show. So be on the lookout for that. And we got one last question before we head on out of here. Theme Park Horizons, you guys heard about Skull Island, Reign of Kong, rumors / ideas of it being rethemed to Jurassic World at Iowa. Oh, I have heard that. I think that would be super sick. I think, George, you've been on that attraction.
I have.
Would you be okay with it being Jurassic World?
I'd pull the lever for the wrecking ball myself.
Just there you go.
Yeah, I would be really excited if they expanded the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchise out. That franchise is cinematic masterpieces, and not saying that Kong isn't, but I think with the type of attraction that Kong is, it's just another screen ride. It's like you kind of have to look at all directions to see like what's going on. I preferred Kongfrontation myself, but the queue for Skull Island is phenomenal. I do enjoy the queue line for that.
Okay, interesting. All right, we're gonna close out this live show on the. Oh, go ahead, Seymour. I'm sorry.
There was one topic I wanted to talk about if you have time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it was regarding Nintendo and how we were talking about movies. Nintendo bought a company. They don't ever buy companies. They're very conservative, but they bought a company, a production company, that does CGI called Dynamo Pictures, and they integrated that into the company, and now it's called Nintendo Pictures. And there's been rumors and speculations that they're looking to make like TV shows and movies, but at a smaller scale for their smaller IPs like Kirby or Pikmin. I just wanted your thoughts on that.
That's actually really smart.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really smart, dude. Like, I do remember hearing about Nintendo Pictures like a little while ago, and I totally forgot about that. Now, so they would produce this stuff. Now, would it be like, where would it show up? Would it show like on a Netflix or something, you think?
I was just going to ask Seymour, like, were they thinking of like licensing it out to different streamings, or were they going to create their own streaming platform?
That I would not know, because Nintendo's very secretive. They don't say anything, but all I see is that they bought a company that does really good CGI at like for like animation, and and they use it for like movies and TV shows, and they named it Nintendo Pictures, like a department that they're gonna make in the future. And it feels like they're gonna use the big budget studios to make Zelda, Mario, possibly Donkey Kong, and whatnot. But then their smaller IPs, I feel like perhaps maybe just on the Switch, or maybe licensing to like Netflix, Disney Plus, Peacock. The smaller IPs, like they can work on it. They can work on Kirby and Pikmin, and it won't be, you don't get that backlash as much as Mario, because those are bigger, heavy IPs compared. But I just remembered it now, and I was like, oh, let's talk about that.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I'm telling you, Seymour, like a Kirby cartoon, I could see that doing very well. I could see that doing very, very well. That's interesting. Now we talked a lot about these activist investors and what have you, Seymour, and we are big supporters of Value Act, which is getting involved with Disney and all that. And you've said many times that Value Act was really big on like pushing Nintendo into kind of getting into the like the content creation space, right? Is this studio? Do you think this is part of the Value Act thing, or maybe not?
Exactly. Like I mentioned, Nintendo doesn't buy companies. The last time they bought a company, it was because they were going to go out of business, and they were like the number one partner to make video games. Because a lot of the times, Nintendo gets other publishers to make their games, developers. And this one, they didn't want to lose out to like Microsoft. Or like Sony, and they bought it out because they're like, we want to work with you, we want to stay with you, but we can't survive without, if you don't buy us out. And they bought them out. They don't usually buy. And when Value Act came in and all this stuff happening, they bought this production company, and it was very weird. And then he's now seeing them venture out to many different aspects of the company, and that's what Value Act is really good. They see a company with a really strong moat, and they expand that idea to venture in different ideas that it can do, diversify their business.
Yeah, it's smart. And I think a lot of people are blowing off Value Act because I think it's more political, where they feel like, Trian Group is like, maybe anti-woke or this, that, and the other. And so that it's more of a thing to push them in. And plus, Value Act is actually working with Disney. It's they're working with them, it's not as confrontational as like Treon. So you don't really hear about Value Act. And we're actually going to do a show with Seymour, tomorrow? I think, tomorrow night, actually. We're going to be talking about the Pelts thing and the Value Act stuff and kind of break it down in detail. But Value Act is doing it right. And we'll get into the details tomorrow, but
I don't just not to make it too long though. I see people not talking about Value Act, and they're like, oh, Disney, we don't need Value Act. You need Nelson Pelt. But then they go to Nintendo, like, look what Nintendo's doing with the parks, and look what they're doing with the movies. Yeah, who do you think helped them with that? Value Act. So why can't Value Act get that recognition when they work with Disney? And now you see them with Epic Games and all this partnership is because that's what Value Act does. They do really good. And it's perfect for Disney with that big flywheel that they have.
Yeah, exactly. No, you bring up a great point, Seymour. A lot of the same people that are saying, oh, Nelson Peltz are the same people saying, look how good Nintendo's doing. You bring up a great point. Nintendo's doing good but a big part of that equation is Value Act. I mean, if you support the direction that Nintendo's going in right now, you should be on that Value Act hype train even more so. And I don't understand why they're not. And that's why I think a lot of it is more political and things like that. Mm-hmm. But we'll get into more detail tomorrow. But very, very interesting stuff.
Yeah, a little tease for tomorrow.
A little tease. Absolutely. Maybe here says, I love having Seymour on the show. Maybe so do we. We absolutely love you. You're awesome, Seymour. We do love you.
Seymour.
And Theme Park Horizons, thank you for being awesome and answering all our questions. Well, thank you for joining us, Horizons. We love seeing you here. And Michael Ebba, I think we know this guy, right? I think we know this guy.
Who's this guy?
I don't know. I don't know. He's been hanging around the channel. He's kind of sketchy. I don't know, especially when he has that hood on. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, his hoodie over there in front of the AMC over at City Walk. But
we got to watch out for this guy.
Exactly. And maybe says that she's excited for his new content, Seymour's new content. We got another Seymour video dropping tomorrow, so we got Seymour stuff coming. And Horizons here says, I'm excited for the Orange Thoughts show you mentioned. Yes, it's gonna be very, very fun. Look for that very soon. And then a couple of things here, then we're gonna close out. Maybe thanks for pausing, saving the city, and being on the show, Webba.
Thank you so much.
The San Diego police scanner is going crazy without you, though.
Oh, maybe appreciate it.
we got to get Ebba out there, start saving people again. Well, actually, Ebba, you do a mean police siren. I remember the video that we released today, the Universal video.
Oh, yes.
You want to share that with the class, sir?
Oh, no, I don't. Hey, guys! If you want to hear that sound, you gotta go watch that video, man. Go watch that video. Give it a like and a share, man. Show your nerds.
Which actually, when you watch that, you're not just gonna get the police siren. You're gonna get a whole plethora of Ebba effects. That it's like because he's like spot on with everything, especially his chopper sound too.
Oh, dude,
his chopper, yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was chef's kiss. I love the passion with the whole Fast and Furious Supercharged segment with the sound effects and the whole thing. Well, you nailed it. You absolutely crushed it.
Thank you so much.
Like I could just see Ebba like was his pickup liners for the ladies like just sitting next to them and like, hey girl, you want to hear my chopper sound?
Yeah. Oh, shit. At the bar, Absolutely.
Hey,
well,
yeah. Sorry, G. I just want to give. Can I just give 2 news things real quick on Mario?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody, just real quick, for Mario Day, if you're interested, it's like I'm selling something, but Luigi's Mansion 2D, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD release date was announced. So if you want to play some Luigi's Mansion, there it is. And Lego Mario Kart set announced for 2025. So if you like Legos, there's a Lego Mario Kart set coming out for you next year.
Awesome.
Oh.
check all that out. Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen, and thanks everyone in the chat.
And really quick, so sorry, I just got the one more thing. Sorry, one more thing. Sorry, I just got the notification. I want to say thank you, Theme Park Horizons, for the follow on X, brother. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. X. Do you guys remember Exhibit?
Yes,
Exhibit?
I remember Exhibit. Dude, okay, guys, hold on a sec. Did you guys ever play Def Jam?
Let's go.
Sorry, Seymour.
It's okay. The numbness in my butt will just stay there for a little while longer.
Yeah, exactly. What was that, Emma? Ever played Def Jam?
Yeah. So like you had like all the rappers like Exhibit and like Snoop Dogg and stuff. Like you would fight each other. That was dope, dude. That was on a PS2. That was really cool.
No, I didn't play that.
Damn, was that just hella random?
I remember Pimp Your Ride with Exhibit as the host.
Oh, Pimp Your Ride, yeah, and he'd put like fish tanks in people's cars and stuff.
Yeah.
That was wild. Mr. X to the Z. Yeah, that was great. Great stuff. But gentlemen, it was an honor. Hanging out with you today, talking Mario, talking Nintendo. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for joining us today. Just an awesome time. Comment down below with all your thoughts on everything we discussed today. We would love to hear from you. And tomorrow we got a lot more content coming out. We got another Seymour video coming out. We got a Matthew Murr video coming out. Jay Shear is coming back on the show as well. So we have a stacked week ahead of us. But thank you all for hanging out and making it look so easy.
세상은 누구에게나 공평하게 추악해. 개틀 것 같아서